Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to Pleb Weekend. So the open beta, or well, this more open beta, I guess it's not the full open beta, the full open beta starts May 3rd, but this one has a lot of people on it, and this little match we're about to watch here is a game absolutely loaded with plebs. And I've actually been noticing some interesting things when I've gotten into games with various plebs. And I wanted to use this video just to say, like, if you are new to the game, there's a couple of things that you can do to really help you in winning, and really help you understand what is going wrong when things don't start working. So in this game, I'm basically going to play Pharah, as I like practicing Pharah, I like playing Pharah. I think Pharah is one of those characters that if you practice her a lot, you could do a lot of good work with. So I've been using this weekend especially to practice a lot of Pharah, a lot of Genji, a little bit of Widowmaker. And I'll talk more about Genji later, and also how to learn and pick up Genji. But yeah, let's talk about a couple of things I've noticed with the plebs. And I'm going to call them plebs because you are plebs. You poor only watchers. I'm going to use that to make fun of you. Don't take it too personally. You won't be plebs for long. So it's like a month away. Release is a month away. I can't believe it. But yeah, I've noticed a couple of people. For example, I've seen people basically glue onto one hero specifically, and the people that do that usually glue onto something like Hanzo, or Genji, or Widowmaker. That's not going to do very well. Partially because a lot of especially with like Hanzo, and especially with Genji, a lot of your ability to succeed is going to be reliant on your ability to actually understand and know the game. You've got to know the maps, you've got to know where people are going to be, you've got to know how people react to various things, what abilities they can do, when you can pick fights, when you can't pick fights. Hanzo is sort of similar. You've got to be able to predict things well, you've got to know the good spots for scatter arrows and sonic arrows, and a lot of Hanzo's knowledge does come down from that. I've seen people who think that in 3 days they're going to master Hanzo, who is arguably like just next to impossible to master, which is a massive pain in the ass. Now, if you do want to do that, then fine, just be prepared to lose a lot of games, basically, and make a lot of other people very, very angry. Luckily, there is quick play now. The ranked is available in the open beta weekend. I haven't actually tried it, partially out of fear of just losing repeatedly. Hello, Genji. See, that's an example of a Genji just tunneling onto the Mercy and not realizing that, you know, I'm stood behind him, and if he's not dodging, if he's not jumping around, I'm going to blow him up. And like, this Trace is actually not doing too bad. I mean, one thing that's kind of interesting is the amount of people with the pre-order skins. It's kind of funny to me how many people got to the open beta have pre-order skins, so it's kind of cool. I kind of like seeing those. I like seeing those around, especially the Origins Tracer. I think she looks really cool on that. Or an Origins Widow also looks good. This Widowmaker, by the way, is, like, you can see the levels here. And, oh yeah, before I forget, like, people misunderstand how to read the levels in this game. I think I have one match where I hold on the level screen for a while, but let me explain it quickly. So you'll never see someone over level 100. That's because if you look in the bottom left, actually you can see it here as well, you can see most people have white borders on the portraits. That means they're sub-level 100. I have a bronze border with no stars on it. That means I'm between level 100 and 200. So I'm technically level 129 at the time of this match recording. Hello squishies. Genji's just used Reflect. I feel perfectly safe jumping in the air, firing off Justice Rays from above, especially with the Mercy healing me. Oh god, someone's killing Mercy, I need to get damage on him. Unfortunately, I was expecting him to run forward and step where I fired that. I think it was the second rocket, but he didn't, and that annoys me. But yeah, levels. If they have a bronze border, it's 100 to 200. Bronze border with 1 star is 200 to 300, 2 stars, 300 to 400, and it goes up and up and up and up from there. If they have a white border, it's just sub 100. Then you can recognize like the new people by them having levels generally between 1 and 20. I'd say you get between 1 and 20 very quickly. It doesn't take that long to do, so it's not too bad. But yeah, other things I see people doing, falling back and relying on Bastion too much, which, like, that's not surprising. Bastion is very much like a noob trap. I've actually been playing a little bit more Bastion and trying to figure out ways to make him work, and the way that you make him work is by moving consistently and also using recon mode to engage, because you do have a lot of hit points. You are actually moderately tanky as Bastion, so you can actually take and win a lot of good fights. That was a good dodge by that Tracer, by the way. I was super happy with where that rocket was going, then she dodges to the side and misses. So frustrating. God damn it, Tracer. But yeah, most of them will just over-rely on Bastion. They'll basically see that they're losing, swap to Bastion, and then what happens is they might hold for about a minute longer, but then they'll stay in the same place, and the enemy team will have 1 or 2 experienced players on it, and so they'll just, you know, annihilate their way through it. Now, their Widowmaker here has swapped to Reinhardt. This was a big mistake. This was a really big mistake because their Widowmaker was what was keeping me in check and keeping me under control. Now I can just do what I like. I'm going to go and hunt the healer. I just want to dump my ult and kill the healer. So even though I've got like 3 people, like everyone just stopped and shot at me, I got Lucio. That's a good trade. Pharah ult for their healer is fine. Absolutely fine. Their Roadhog gets a good hook. That reminds me, I will be doing the patch breakdown tomorrow. It's actually a fairly small and simple patch. It's an interesting design decision. I want to talk a bit about that. So I'll have some McCree gameplay recorded, hopefully, for that, just to show you and talk about why McCree's buffs and Roadhog's buffs are an interesting sign for the game as a whole. This is a really cool spot, by the way, on Route 66. You can actually shoot under that billboard, and the amount of people I've managed to catch out doing that is pretty huge. Here I try and get... I don't want to land on the point to contest it because there's a Reaper right there, so I have to sort of jump around, back down, and oh no! Tracer gave me a present, guys. Tracer gave me a present and it wasn't nice. Oh well. Not too bad. I mean, we're still contesting the objective. They did manage to reach it, however, unfortunately. One thing that would be really nice for competitive mode, by the way, is if they put the... Because you do an attack and defense, it would be so cool if they put the other team's payload on that bar at the top, so you could see where the other team was while they push. It would be super useful for spectating as well. It would be so good for generating hype by comparing the two teams pretty much on the spot. But yeah, I'm just going to lay down pressure on Reinhardt. Like, Reinhardt here isn't actually that great a pick, simply because we have the Genji and we have me on Pharah. And especially me on Pharah, like, they needed to pick something to deal with me more than deal with anything else, because I think on my team there's just me and the Mercy who are the experienced players. Everyone else are the little babbies, the little low-level plebs, plebbing away, doing their pleb thing, and it's awesome. I love seeing it, by the way. I love watching new people play Overwatch. I love watching people who are unfamiliar with the game, or, you know... Oh, that was a good shot, by the way. Oh, it always feels so satisfying as far as rockets land. But yeah, when people are unfamiliar with the game, I like seeing what they do, how they approach it, how they learn, how they figure things out. Here I try and get some damage onto the Reinhardt barrier. If I was unmolested in that period, I would have been able to blow through the barrier and kill the Reinhardt, basically. But you can see that, like, the two experienced players, one is a level 50 Reinhardt, and he's doing okay. Like, level 50 isn't bad. Level 50, by that time, they generally know what they're doing. Most people, at least. 25 still kind of early, but they'll at least have some familiarity. Meanwhile, on our team, we got me on 129 and the Mercy on 83, I think it was, who are just going to take over the game as it pushes. But you can see, like, the enemy team is pushing pretty steadily, making pretty good progress, partially because my Pharah is, like, in need of practice. This is why I'm playing Pharah a lot, is I'm trying to get better with my prediction, trying to get better with my aim, because the rockets are very, very tight in Pharah, so it's kind of difficult at times to land the kill shots unless you are, I don't know, competent, unless you're really good. I've also been playing a lot of Genji, and like I said, I'll talk about Genji on the next match, I think it is, where it's a very quick Genji game, but I can talk about how to approach Genji from a learning point of view, because I've been studying, I've been learning, practicing. Oh, always feels good, always feels good. But yeah, other mistakes I see people do, new players always hesitate to swap heroes. They always are, I don't know, reluctant to it. It's just one of those things that you really have to take time and learn and get used to. But at the moment, like, they're stalled out right now. They're stalling, and it's because I'm not being dealt with. And oh god, this shot. Oh! Oh! Olé, Reinhardt. Like, just, where's my red cloak? They stalled out there for a while, so it's difficult for them. Like, they had nothing to deal with me because their Widow swapped off the Widow. And here, oh, I get picked out the sky, and then this Reaper actually gets a really good ult. This guy must have felt so good about this. This is sad days for our team. Like, that's a perfect Reaper ult, just dropped onto 4 people and killed them all. But here we have another game. This is going to be a very quick match as Genji, but I wanted to include this just to talk a little bit about Genji, because I know a lot of people want to learn Genji. And what I found with Genji is I was playing him very wrong, and I still do to some degree. So I'm a very aggressive person when I play games like this. I play a very in-your-face style, a very kind of aggro style. And by the way, on the enemy team is Stylosa. If you don't know who Stylosa is, go look up Unit Lost. He does make Overwatch content as well, so a lot of it's pretty damn good. Some things he misses, some things he gets right, some things he gets, I would say, slightly wrong, but he's usually on the mark, and he's got a lot of good content out there. So look up Unit Lost, go say hello to Stylosa, leave a comment saying I sent you to him, because he's a good bloke, and he's British YouTube, and I like supporting other British YouTubers. Anyway, Genji. So, I play very aggressively, and I used to play Genji exactly the same way I play Tracer, where I'd get into the backline and then start picking fights with people, and then I would die, because I'm not good enough with the shurikens to reliably get damage down and reliably assassinate people. And that's the problem I was having with Genji. I couldn't get kills reliably, whereas with Tracer I was getting kills reliably. And a Genji who can't kill anyone isn't useful. So I'd always just say, sod it, I'll play Tracer instead. What I'm learning now is that I was actually approaching it wrong. Genji is more patient. He's more thoughtful. There's more to consider with Genji, and this, might serve as a mini guide, but the way that you play Genji, especially when you're learning him, is you've got to poke, you've got to harass, you've got to look for people who are injured, and then try and get the finishing shot. Because the way Genji works is you snowball off one kill to get more kills and more kills. You need that first kill, however, to really get work done. But I'm going to go in, I'm going to look for this Widowmaker because she's going to be a problem. And I'm also going to deal with like a million symmetric turrets in the most obnoxious places. And I know Widowmaker's gone above me because she's shooting down on me, so I'm just going to grab the health and then try and deal with her. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to be dealing with her on my own, which isn't going to be great, and I'm going to miss like almost every shuriken. And because the shuriken damage is nerfed, Genji in a 1 versus 1 is actually not that reliable anymore. Now, to be really good with him in here, like, I want the turret, but then McCree appears and flashbangs me and holds me still while D.Va puts bullets in me. Unfortunately, there's about 4 people just standing in front of the Hanamura gate, not pushing. That's the thing I'm going to talk about in the final game after this one, is how to attack, because most people, as they pick up the game and are new to the game, don't get how to attack. So I want to just lay the framework of how to actually attack into people's heads before they pick up the game in the open beta, perhaps, or even if they're playing it here. But here, like, this is where the health is. It's usually where people are kind of injured, so I want to get it in here, get some damage down. She's low, can dash through her, get the kill, nice and safe, but unfortunately she died before my dash connected, which is really annoying because it means I don't get another free dash. But here I can push into the point, and this reflect, like, that's the reflect of the gods. Holy shit, I could not believe how good that was. So if Symmetra is running at you and she doesn't have the big beam projecting in front of her, she is charging to do damage. So just hold off, wait for it to launch, and then reflect it back at her, and it will deal like 100 damage, 120 something damage maybe, I think. No, it might even be 150, it's insane. Now, otherwise, going to try and push in, want to put pressure on this Pharah. I have Dragon Blade, and this is where Genji sort of comes to life. Now, this Pharah actually does a kind of clever thing where she just goes out over the edge. I get a little bit nervous, so I don't want to chase her out, and makes it hard for me to try and push in. Luckily, my team is actually attacking and offensive on the point, so I can go in and do work. And this is actually the key with Genji. You poke and poke and poke and harass, and you pick people off when you can. When there's an opening, you go in for the dash kills, because that's your guaranteed safe damage. And then when you get Dragon Blade, you go in and you kill their entire team. That's how you play Genji. That's at least my approach to Genji. I'm calling it like the patient assassin style of Genji. Because I am not good enough yet to 1 versus 1 people reliably, I'll instead look for injured targets, use the 50 reliable damage from the dash, and then use that to build up and build up and build up and get Dragon Blade going. Or rather, build up multiple dashes, then get Dragon Blade going, and with Dragon Blade, it then becomes easy to get a shitload of kills and decisively swing the game so your team can push in. By the way, that's a very bold high noon. But finally, this final little match is where I'm going to talk about attacking. We actually have a lot of problems on this match, I think, but you can see, like, so I'm 129, that Pharah is 150, for example. I can't remember what the others are. I think I usually press tab at the start of these matches, so you can see. But yeah, attacking. How do you attack? Especially, like, I probably should put some Hanamura gameplay on here, because there's only 3 maps available for the open beta, but whatever, this works fine. This is it's true for any map, how to do this, how to attack. How do you attack in Overwatch? I see people do this a lot, especially in Hanamura, where they'll just stand in front of the gates and they'll try and get pick after pick after pick. So you got to remember Overwatch is a 6 versus 6 game, right? And what you do is you wait until you get an important pick. So if you kill their Symmetra, it's not too big a deal, especially if she has a teleporter up. That's not going to do anything decisive. If you kill their tank, that's a sign that you need to start playing aggressively. You want to start using that to gain ground and push through that gate. So if they've got like a Reinhardt, and McCree runs up and throws his flashbang over the Reinhardt barrier, stuns him, and then puts a shitload of bullets into him and kills him, that's the time you need to start doing things. You need to be looking for opportunities at that moment to actually aggress and do some damage. The amount of times I see people like just holding still, and here I get like a little bit panicked, so I don't realise that this Mercy is literally pocketing me, which is kind of funny. I do like it when Mercies do that. When you're playing Widow, it gives you like a 1-shot on 200 hit point characters, which I missed the shot on the Reaper. Ugh, my aim. I need to rejigger my mouse sensitivity a little bit, I think. I miss a lot of shots that I should be hitting. I mean, I hit that one, which is pretty nice, but still, I can do better. Sad times. But yeah, where was I in attacking? So you get 1 or 2 picks, and then you start pushing, and especially, like, this is why Widowmaker on attack is actually very good, because she's very good at getting 1 or 2 quick kills, and that will blow open the enemy team. Like in this case, I've just taken out the turret. Widow's also very good at taking out turrets. Hello, Genji. What are you peeking at? Widow's incredibly good at taking out turrets. So you take out the turret, and then you take out maybe one or two other people. That point is when you push. And this is why it's so important, by the way, that the first time you log into Overwatch, go into options, and turn on the kill feed. It is so important to see when people are dying and who is dying. It still boggles my mind that it is not on by default. It should be on by default. Because it's such important information. Also, this is really obnoxious. They're running two Lucios who are just going to heal each other and heal each other and heal each other. And I missed that. I can't believe I missed that shot. Like, it just makes me so sad. So sad. It's a sad, sad situation. But yeah, you've got to see, you know, when people are pushing, when people are doing things. Also, never push into a molten core. Like, this is actually a bit of a waste of molten core, luckily, because we just have Reinhardt push the point. But here I get a bit occupied, so Genji throws a shuriken into my head. Also, I'm running the lovely Huntress Widowmaker skin. I love this skin so much. It's so cool. You do lose the butt, but it's so cool regardless. And like the gun's super fancy, and everything looks really cool. And she's also got like a little like the Bastion sort of tie on her back. It looks really cool on the coat. It's really nice looking. But yeah, attacking it's just a matter of understanding that, you know, when you get one or two kills, that's the time to go. The amount of people I see where important kills happen, like the healer goes down, the tank goes down, and people are still looking to get picks and don't go, it makes me think that maybe they don't have the kill feed open, or maybe they don't have, maybe they just don't know how to push in. And this is the thing that I see new people struggle with a lot, is especially against teams with a lot of builders, or, you know, if you're running into a Torbjorn Bastion defense, the moment Torbjorn's turret goes down and the moment Bastion is down, you push and you push hard, because that just opens their team up to you running in and dealing a shitload of damage. And that's important, right? Like, the amount of times I see people where Torbjorn's turret goes down and people just stall and don't do anything, or Reinhardt doesn't move forward. It's a big mistake, and here I'm trying to get the Genji, but he reflects. I think, sod it, let's go around the side. Let's try and get an opening from this side. Oh, hello. Hello, dwarf. Torbjorn's actually really strong in close range, by the way. Like, really strong. I'm actually starting to up Torbjorn mentally in my head as a Tracer counter, because his right click is so good against Tracer. It's so strong. If you can land the hits with the right click, there's a small delay in firing it, but if you just spam it away, it will do a lot of damage. Also, let's talk about payload, because we're on the payload map. Try and always have one or two people on the payload. It doesn't matter who, as long as they're on it. And this, I'm honestly surprised that hit me, because D.Va ult usually doesn't go through payloads. So I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not sure why I died to that, because D.Va ult doesn't go through payload. A lot of ultimates do now. Reinhardt ultimate does, for example, but D.Va's ult shouldn't. So maybe it's because I ducked. I don't know. That shouldn't have any effect on that. Oh well. But yeah, with payload, you always want one or two people pushing, and then you want to have space open for your most aggressive characters to be able to do things in the front lines. And I swapped to Hanzo here because the Torbjorn's getting on my nerves, and I want some more mid-range power just so I can try and fight in this mid-range. Hello, Torbjorn, and I get one shot. Because Torbjorn does a lot of damage now. He's actually good in close combat. Like, do not underestimate the little man. He's very powerful. And there we see, like, why didn't... McCree really needs to finish that turret off, because McCree can blow up a turret in no time at all. Also, this was really clever by Genji. Like, I'm going, where's Genji? Oh shit, he's behind us with a Dragon Blade. He actually used the Fire Strike, so he reflects Fire Strike and then dashed. And because they're both red, I didn't register in my head that Genji had dashed. I thought it was just the Fire Strike. He like used it to mask his dash. I'm sure that was completely intentional by Genji, and you know, totally by his design. But yeah, it was. I was like, whoa, holy shit, that's real ninja stuff there. Like, Fire Strike just masked his dash behind us, then he pulled out a sword and killed everyone. It's very sad. And there's Widow at long range. Widow versus Hanzo duels are always kind of frustrating, but here, oh, simple geometry. I love it when you just get that right and it hits. Hanzo very good at taking out turrets. It's also a very easy source of getting a free Dragon Strike, because it doesn't take that much damage for Hanzo to get one. Hanzo can actually build up his ultimate charge nice and quickly, but otherwise I'm going to look to try and secure this inside. Going to take out the turret, and then Widow, one hit. Going to get the second. Can I get the second? No, because we're being aggressed on here. I flubbed the movement. Luckily I managed to dodge that ultimate. Hello, turret. Hello, turret. Unfortunately, Dragon Strike does not do damage to the turret, but it does push the Torbjorn off it, so I can just quickly take it out and then start pushing forward. Want to put a sonic arrow in front of that exit there, because the thing with this point is most of the enemy team is all going to come out of a single doorway, and it's the doorway just above where the payload is right now. If I turn and face it, just up there, just to the right, they're all going to come up onto that balcony. So you want to get control of that. And here, Molten Core goes off, so need to back off. Unfortunately, Diva was still alive behind us, so not much I can do there. And yeah, like as I said, don't push into Molten Core, so we just got to back up and wait here. Everyone's sort of trickling in. Mercy gets a res off, but it's on to Pharah, and I think she's stuck in the middle of the enemy team as well. And here's the enemy team doing a good job. Like, they've got a solid defense. We're struggling to push through this Torbjorn. He's actually playing relatively well. He's using his turrets offensively. He knows when to let them go as well. And, I'm so sad that, like, why didn't that scatter arrow hit? Why didn't that not hit? How did that not land? Sad times. But yeah, we're now getting trapped in this canyon, and this is the thing with Route 66. The routes from the spawn to the actual map itself are very easy to control somewhat, especially if you have a dragon strike like that one coming through. And you've got to be so careful when coming out of here. Like, Reinhardt needs to be up front, barrier up, and we need to use my sonic arrow to get space as well. Someone in here, unfortunately one of the arrows has bounced out, and it's Diva, so she retreats. So I've been playing more Diva as well on this open weekend, just to try and get a feel of how to actually use Diva appropriately, how to make her work. And here, close range duel with Reaper, land one, missed the flick there, unfortunately. If I landed that flick, it would have killed him. Also, Mercy died behind me. How was Mercy on that little health? I was so confused by that, because Reaper should not be able to shoot her down from that range that quickly. So she must have been super low, but still, we run out of time. Not enough force on the payload, unfortunately, and we do lose this one. Still, thanks for watching to the end. I've been Josh, as one voice amongst many. We're going to watch this play the game at rollout, and hopefully this had a couple of helpful tips. I know it's like it's somewhat random in the tips given, but this is gameplay and chill for that reason. It's just an opportunity for me to share some wisdom about the game and hopefully teach people a thing or two, especially if you're new and don't quite know what's going on with Overwatch. By the way, Reinhardt ult Earthshatter does stun turrets. Many can also freeze them, by the way. There we go, beautiful, beautiful, but I'm going to give it to the Diva. I do try and give the commendations to other people rather than me, even people on the enemy team, which people don't seem to do. Toodles.